Uh, Radhe Radhe all. Uh, Good morning and good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Uh, is that okay if my video is not on for today? I'm seeing some issues.
Yeah, no worries.
Right.
Or we
Yeah,
can
Radhe
slow down.
Radhe.
Okay.
Okay. We'll start. So today we will be starting with Bhagavad Gita. We'll resume 6.28 Dhyana Yoga. Uh, Before we begin, invocations to Guru and God. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Chanuramardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay. A quick recap on what we learned so far. So Lord Sri Krishna, he introduces us and he explains all the intricacies of meditation, like how to meditate or what is the object of meditation and what should be your state while meditating and how is the state after meditating, what do you achieve or what do you reach up on meditation. So he has covered all that till now. And in the previous shloka, Sri Krishna declares that supreme joy certainly obtains this yogi with serene mind, whose passion has been quietened, who has become the eternal essence and who is without sin. So we have discussed this in detail, and this should be in our memory. And uh, so here, one thing, if you look at shloka, the expression is this, that supreme joy obtains this yogi. I was thinking about a bit about this, and I was reading about this also. Usually, we say that the person obtains joy, but here he says that joy certainly obtains this yogi. And I read this very nice thing that that's the difference between a yogi and a bhogi. A bhogi, he runs behind joy. He's always like, okay, once I get this, I'll be happy. Once I get this, I'll be happy. Once I get this, I'll be happy. And he runs after one material thing, after another material thing, and he's always running behind joy. But here, Sri Krishna, he declares, he says, certainly. And it's like joy runs behind yogi. The yogi, he just reaches that state wherein he experiences himself, wherein he unites with the Supreme Self and then he feels blissful like joy runs behind the yogi like unlike the bhogi who runs behind joy. So that's the difference. And again, for those of us who have doubts, will I ever be able to achieve, maybe this shloka is some kind of hope wherein Krishna specifically says certainly. So it must be possible for us if Sri Krishna has declared. Coming to this shloka, I think here he concludes on the. Sorry, anyone is speaking? Any hands raised? Uh,
No, you may go ahead. Yeah.
uh, so coming to this shloka, he concludes on this topic of the eternal essence or the state within. So this is today's shloka. Today 6.28. Any hands raised for recitation? Anyone wants to recite? Okay, please go ahead, Sandhya ji.
I'll give it a try. Yeah. युञ्जनैवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्मसंस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखम् अश्नुते.
Thanks a lot, Sandhya ji. Please go ahead, Pratyusha ji.
Radhe युञ्जनैवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते.
Thank you, Pratishaji. Anyone else? If there are no more hand raised, I'll go ahead. I'll recite the shloka and I'll walk through the slides further. युञ्जानेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमाश्नुते. In this manner, the sinless yogi, always engaged in the self, joyfully contacts the eternal essence, experiencing infinite bliss. What does this mean? Let us go through. But before we begin further, when I was reading the shloka, I was like, we already covered this, right? We've already covered this shloka, and my memory being bad, I couldn't recollect well. And then, fortunately, through Sadak Sanjeevani, Joelji pointed to shloka 6.15. So the first line was something similar to what we did in 6.15. So in 6.15, the shloka said, Yunja nevam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasaha. And here it is Yunjanam same thing. Yunjanam evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha. So you just see the difference with the niyata manasaha and vigata kalmashaha. And we have discussed 6.15 in detail as well, wherein we said that the yogi who is practicing here, and then the Yunjanam means practicing yoga. Here, the word Yunjanam refers to practice. And through practice, the yogi is always having his mind on God. So he fixes the mind on God through practice. But here, the same word, it has a different meaning. Here, Yunjan, it does not mean practice, but Yunjan means unity. It signifies the unity of oneself with God. And once we are united with God, we have the freedom from the feelings of egoism and mindness. So once we have that freedom, we also become free from sins, and that's why there is this vigata kalmasha. Kalmasha is sin, vigata is without. So he becomes sinless. In and The difference of meaning in the word yunjan, it comes through the next word. So the context is given here by niyata manasaha, it's like regularly fixing the mind, and here it is by vigata kalmashaha. So it is by being sinless. And here it is used for the Lord with attributes. We said that you have to, focus your mind on God. Krishna also discussed this in another shloka, like focus your mind on me. He told that. So why does he give it here? This is the practice phase. So this every phase, every student, everyone, you go through two phases. One is the practice phase, and once you've practiced enough, and you realize more of it, you're in that state. So this is to get you to the state. So you have to focus on God with attributes so that it gets easy for you to meditate. It gets easy for you to focus. And this is the place wherein, the yogi has reached that state. So it's used for the absolute. I mean, the formless God, the Lord without the attributes. He reaches that state and he's just united with that state. And here, in the 15th shloka, the emphasis has been laid to fix the mind on God through practice by the term niyata manasaha. Same thing, what we discussed. This niyata manasaha gives more context to yunjan as practice. And here, vigata kalmashaha, that is sinless, emphasizes the renouncement of affinity and the unity and the unity with the self, or the renouncement with the non-self. So everything which is not you, you renounce it. So that's the state when you achieve when you reach meditation. You know that you're not the mind, you know that you're not the body, and you're united with the self. So you renounce everything with the non-self, and you experience that divine bliss, that joy. And this is once you have reached that state. And here again, in the practice state, the mind, by meditating on God, is absorbed in Him, and thus the world is renounced. And here, by renouncing the affinity with the world, the yogi gets established in God. Thus, the result of both is the same. Again, uh, although this emphasizes once you have reached the state, So Sri Krishna also has covered it for the set of people who wants to practice the other way around. Like you renounce yourself, and then even if you try the other way, but you renounce the affinity with the world, but you still get established in the God. Ultimately, the result of both is the same. But not to mince with words, Sri Krishna has definitely given us a process, and if he has given us the process, then it would be best for us to try out what he says. Uh, Again, I'm don't count on my opinion because I'm not a saint. I would still suggest that you listen to saints, try out, work out, and see what works best for you. And read the Bhagavad Gita again and again, and Krishna would definitely answer it for you. So, what is this shloka telling us? Many people they ask, what's the easiest way to attain Brahman? So the Lord answers that question here. It says that two practices should be followed. The mind should be free from evil thoughts and tendency. Vigata kalmashaha, the mind. And then it should be brought to dwell in Atma by Jnana Yoga. More details follow. So, Vigata kalmashaha, purity of mind. I think we have discussed this enough. The cleansing of the mind, or the cleansing of the heart, or the purity of the mind. Mind itself is a huge and extensive topic. Pratisha ji has already spoken once on the four aspects of the mind: man, chitta, buddhi, ahankar. Uh, and the purity of the mind is extremely essential. Why? We see that here. The yogi needs to have continually kept focus on the method of meditation with the word vikata kalmashaha, which means without any defects or sins. Yeah, so the Yunjana aspect is the unity of self without any sins. And meditation cannot yield any results if the mind still harbors impurity in the form of vasanas and desires. So, if you have been practicing meditation, you would have known this by this time that when your mind desires something, or when your mind is restless, or when your mind is behind something, it gets very difficult to focus on one point, or even to focus on breath. So that is the prerequisite for meditation. I mean, your mind. I mean, the meditation cannot yield any result until you learn to fix your mind on one object, or until your mind becomes free of impurities. Your meditation will not yield any results. So that is the significance of having the purity of mind. And Atma Jnana cannot be drawn on impure mind. The evil mind cannot merge in Atma. So, what is Atma? What is our soul? We know that it is divine, something which is not material. So they're diametrically opposite. Our mind is made of material nature, Maya, and the soul is divine. So as long as we don't cleanse our mind of all our material affinities, we cannot say that we are touched. Our mind won't be touched with the soul, or we can't say that we are one with the divine soul. Attachment to material things is diametrically opposite to Atma, which is unconditioned and uncontaminated by any other things. As the mind becomes purer and purer, it comes into contact with the Brahman, which is the source of the highest bliss. So, purification of mind and meditation on Atma are both mentioned here as the path to supreme joy. So, once you need to have purity of your mind, and then you have to focus on your uh, self. So that is when you achieve the divine bliss. And when the mind becomes purer and purer, you get less detached to the world, and you get more attached to the divine. So that's how it is. Even when Nitji was taking sessions, he was emphasizing it so much that there are only two places where you can put your mind, either in the world or on the God. If you're detaching yourself, your mind from the world, then automatically it is on God. So the other way is also true. You focus it more on the divine, and slowly it would get detached from the material world as well. And what is the end result of meditation? So that is covered in the second half of the shloka. It says that Brahma Samsparsham. So the ultimate result of meditation is he obtains the happiness or the sukha. And this is not the happiness which we get by getting the things of the material world. It is the divine happiness. And it is that divine happiness which is obtained by contact with the Brahman, the eternal essence. So Brahma Samsparsham literally sparsh is the touch. So it literally translates to the yogi touches the Brahman. Brahman is of nature of infinite joy and bliss. Anyone who identifies with it also gains such infinite joy. Atyanta Sukham. So Atyanta Sukham and Brahma Samsparsham are the important words in the second half of the shloka. So what you obtain is not uh, just the tiny joys of your regular day-to-day life. It is the Atyanta Sukham. It is the divine bliss, and once going there, there is no looking back. And you get in touch with that. That is the result of meditation. That is the goal of meditation. The end result of meditation. And in unity with God, the feeling of I does not exist, nor does that remain its least impression. Infinite bliss is the state in which a yogi is immersed in God and loses his identity. A yogi attains this bliss, which has been named as imperishable bliss and supreme bliss. All these names denote the same, the divine bliss. So the same thing we have picked it up from different books and from different saints. They all convey us the same thing that once you are there, uh, uh, this focuses more from the jnana perspective, that the I does not remain. The ahankar part, you don't identify yourself with the material world, but you identify yourself with the divine bliss, the imperishable bliss, supreme bliss, and all this denote the same thing. It is a divine bliss. You unite yourself with the divine bliss. And how do you unite? It is the state which you experience. So once you're more into dhyana, once the result of the goal of meditation is obtained, you experience, you touch the Brahman and you experience this divine state. And once you experience this divine state, there is no I, me, mine, nothing is there at this phase. Uh, Going to the next slide, uh, practice should be continued constantly. So that there was also a word sada, uh, which signifies always. In whatever manner a man may be engaged, man or woman, belated women's day wishes to all the women here, by the way. Uh, in whatever way a man may be engaged, the memory of the Atma should not slip out of the mind. Such a yogi obtains Brahma Sakshatkara. So, so if you always are able to constantly bring into memory that you are the soul, that you are one with God, you are the divine. You should not let this slip out of your memory, and that is the state called Brahma Sakshatkara. And with that state, that you are not the mind or body, with purity of your mind, you focus the dhyana that happens, and then you reach the ultimate state. But again, you should be practicing it constantly, always, and only the pure mind can approach Atma and can become united with him. So this was another uh, translation from another book. Here also you see that the focus is on the purity of mind. Time and again, everyone, all the saints and everyone, they emphasize on the purity of mind. Uh, in that state, one experiences indescribable bliss. It is infinite, unlike anything that is enjoyed in all the worlds. The bliss of Hiranyagarbha is also like a drop in the ocean of Brahmananda, who declared the Upanishads. Uh, so, what is the word Hiranyagarbha? Uh, I think Hiranya is the golden uh, date, as far as I know. Uh, so, I would leave that as a homework for all of you to figure it out. To get the meaning of this, but we will certainly post it tomorrow, more context on Hiranyagarbha. And and Brahmananda, Premananda, all this Pratishaji has described in details how we start with Vishyananda and we go ahead and the Brahmananda and how Premananda exceeds Brahmananda. So no questions that we have heard that in detail. Hmm. Mm, yeah, so anyone can attain this state in this very life by following the conditions prescribed by the Lord. Uh, still for those who are in doubt, quite reaffirming again. And Krishna has affirmed it in the previous shloka as well. He said, certainly, you can certainly reach the state by following the procedure, what he has mentioned. So, for the procedure, revise again the complete chapter from 6.1. So, the word evam here refers to the step-by-step approach of meditation that has been prescribed here. Sri Krishna says that only by following this approach can the eternal essence be realized. So there are several methods to meditation. Yeah, we know that there are infinite meditation apps. There are infinite things to focus on. And I'm not saying that one is right or one is wrong. Depending on the stage you are, depending on the phase you are, at the practice state you are, one meditation could tune well. And what is the process? How do you start? And at what stage you meditate on what? So the process has been very well established in all this shlokas. So here he says that by following the approach, the eternal essence can be realized. There are several methods to meditation, but it is important to follow a disciplined approach in order to obtain the result of meditation mentioned in the sloka. It is like purification of gold. Only a certain process will ensure that the mind gold will shine. So similarly, we need to follow the process here, and we might differ in our opinions. Like we discussed with one person, they said that no, I don't have to sit and meditate this way. I can feel God in whatever you do. So and one person would say no, I need to sit and meditate. It depends on the state. Like that person has already purified their mind to some extent, so they're able to feel the God. They're able to feel that essence with anything and everything they do. But if you are a beginner, you might not be able to sync with that. You may feel that yes, I have to sit and meditate. But no matter which state you're in, Krishna has even if you have to sit and meditate, Krishna has also told you that how you need to sit and all that. But if you don't need have the need to sit and meditate, Krishna has the set of shloka wherein he says that you can uh, feel the essence with the God. He describes the state wherein you don't have that I within you, that ego within you. So different folks, different shloks, and also at different phases where your sadhana is. Uh, Going to the next shloka. So everyone has emphasized so much on purity of mind, purity of mind, purity of mind. So I was going on and doing a little bit of study on how do we get this purity of mind. Then I was pointed to this. This is called Sikshartakam, if I'm not wrong. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has not uh, written bhajans or poems or anything as such except for the Sikshartakam. They are six Ashtakam, eight Ashtakam is eight. So there are eight uh, verses in what he has written in this whole life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered as an incarnation of Krishna. So and if he in his whole life he has written eight verses, then you know that significance of those eight verses. Uh, and the very first one, it starts with, and all these eight verses, they signify the impact of chanting. What happens to you on chanting? And here he says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So glory to the Sri Krishna yeah, it goes like this: Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahatava Nirvapanam. So glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, which cleanses the heart of all that has accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of unconditional life, of repeated birth and death. So this is what chanting can do for you. So how to obtain the end result of meditation? So start with purity of mind. How to obtain purity of mind? Start with chanting. Chanting will help you to purify your mind. So even Prabhupada ji, he also was said this in one of his lectures. Cheto Darpana Marjanam means cleansing of the heart, because all congestion of dirty things within your heart, I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. If you chant, you'll gradually understand that you're spirit soul. You're not Indian, not American, not this, not that. So this is self-realization. Was said in one of the lectures. So it's not just Prabhupada, like a lot of saints whom I've come across. They have emphasized on taking God's name, on always having God's name on your wood, and how much that helps you in cleansing your heart. So this is enough of me speaking. From now on, I wanted to do this.
एक एक अक्षर आराम से देखना
I wanted to do this. I wanted to get the wisdom of saints. So
एक
we
एक
listen
अक्षर
to them.
आराम से देखना मैं कोई
I'm not able to pause on reaching the slide, so I go back to the previous slide. So from now on, something which I wanted to do was I wanted to include one session called the Wisdom of Saints. So we cultivate this habit of listening to the saints in each of our sessions. So it's very powerful if we listen to the saints regularly, and slowly we see that in our work, whatever they have said, it just strikes our memory at times. So that is the power that the saints have. Uh, like usually, at least me, when I say, even I don't remember what I've said the next day. I will be acting diametrically opposite, although I've spoken all this at length. But it's not the same when you hear from saints. So that's the reason I've got this.
एक एक अक्षर आराम से देखना मैं कोई जल्दी नहीं कि हमें 100 मंत्र करना है कि 5000 करना है, कुछ नहीं। हमें 10 मिनट केवल मंत्र में देना है। आप देखो ऐसे करके शांत हुए बिना माला के भी शांत बैठे चिंतन करें। मन भागने लगे तुरंत उसको तुरंत हटाओ, इतना अभ्यास आ जाएगा। और इसका एक मंत्र हजारों बार जपने के बराबर है। ऐसे जैसे आप देख रहे हो, मान लो राधा 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 लिखा, राधा अंदर से सुना, अंदर से सुन भी रहे, राधा दिखाई भी दे रहा है और अंदर से बोल भी रहे। जब बोलेंगे तभी तो सुनेंगे। बिल्कुल ये एकाग्र स्थिति है एकदम, इसीलिए हम ज्यादा समय नहीं कह रहे। और फिर जब स्थिति बनने लगती तो चलते फिरते उठते बैठते खाते पीते हर समय वो स्थिति बने, पर वो बहुत कृपा की बात है। अभी अभ्यास आप ऐसा करें।
He has just summarized the shloka for us. He said that abhi aap abhyas karo, now you practice, and once you practice later, har samay it's like utte, बैठे, chalte, that dhyan comes with you, but wo bahut sadhana ke baad. And for those who don't understand Hindi, please let me know. I'll translate it in English if any hands who need a translation for this. Yes, Sandhya ji, please.
Radhe Radhe, great initiative. I always love listening to saints, and we could do this in the session, so that's great. And yeah, I mean, I think I just thought I wanted to re-emphasize on this, like because this is something I've heard multiply from multiple sources, that whenever we are practicing chanting of the name of the Lord, it is important to not just, like do some count. It is important to very clearly be able to hear what you're chanting. And for that only, Premanandji has also given a advice that you can practice writing it in your head, like anywhere, imaginary writing, which helps you clearly understanding what you're chanting, whom you are chanting, who are you remembering, right? So yeah, that. And sorry, two more things I thought I can quickly add right now, because this is like a close group. Um, Today is Nitinji's birthday. And why am I mentioning that? Because without him, we wouldn't be doing this together. So, he's really the source of it. So I thought I can just mention to whoever is in touch with him and want to wish him. And second thing is, today became again special because India won the Champions Trophy. So congratulations to everyone for that. But yeah, that's it.
When you said writing, it reminded me of one thing. In South India, that was specifically in Andhra side, there is this habit of, I mean, my grandma does this. So that they say this Ramakoti. So they take a book and it would literally have 1 crore. How many millions? It is 10 million, 1 million, 10 million. Yeah. So 1 crore, please convert it. And that many lines, and you just write Sri Rama on it. And my granny, she has finished many such books. She handed over me one book, and I think years back, even I was writing it. So I just thought everybody, it's small. If you could see, no, okay. the
That's
virtual background.
that's a
Yeah.
great habit actually. But one thing to
But
add,
I abandoned in between. You said I remembered. So I used to do it before sleeping. I used to write Sri Rama, and used to finish 2 or 3 columns and sleep. And my grandmother used to finish many pages. So when they used to visit it, I used to see her writing, and I was like, no, even I want to write. And she handed me one book, but I never completed that until now. But for some people, practice even writing for the remembrance of Lord.
yeah, I mean, so actually, just one thing I wanted to say, which I again learned in the satsang only, that uh, even if we write, we need to make sure that those pages don't go like, in waste of any kind, because that is in some sense disrespect of God's name. So that is just an additional thing we need to be careful about if we are writing it on a paper, that that paper has to be respectfully treated throughout. So yeah.
So next, anyone, any questions so far? Because we are almost towards the end of the shloka and we have only one shloka today, so we have ample time for Bhakcharit and questions. Yes, Pratisha ji.
Radhe Radhe, Shiramya ji. Actually, I wanted to answer about the Hiranyagarbha, but I wanted to know the context. Why did you say that point? I forgot. That's why.
Okay, why did I say that point? I picked it up from one of the translations of Bhagavad Gita. This was from Vivek Vani by Swami Vivekananda. Here it says that in that state, one experiences infinite bliss. It is the infinite, and unlike anything that is enjoyed in all the worlds, the bliss of Hiranyagarbha is also like a drop in the ocean of Brahmananda. So declare the Upanishads.
Okay, okay. So, can I tell you about Hiranyagarbha?
Sure.
Okay, so it's related to the ego. So, for a jiva, like for us who are identified with our various identities, so we have the ego exists in 3 states. Okay, so one is waking state. So in the waking state, whatever we do, all our actions based on whatever ego. And then there is dream state, and then there is a causal state. Okay, dream state means in while dreaming we cook up something, we make stories, we go experience everything, so that's dream state, right? And then the causal state is everything is happening because of a reason, which is our samskar embedded in our chitta. So that is our causal state. So causal states, from causal state dream state comes, and from dream state all our actions comes. So the ego is actually spread across these. So this is for a jiva. But when we talk about Bhagwan, so Bhagwan also has these 3 states. One is the Virat that we have been talking in our Bhagavatam class, which is the entirety of the manifestation, all the 14 lokas and everything, right? Which is physically we can see, like how they say that the sky is the eye, of the god, like that, different. So similarly, all the people, all the animals, plants, if they are dreaming, all their thought, that is called the cosmic egg, or the Hiranyagarbha. And then beyond that is the samskar, or the of everything, all these impressions and everything saved. That is the causal, which is called I think the Karanodaka Sai Vishnu form. Okay, so that is and they all have some technical names. So Hiranyagarbha is that. So probably the bliss that he is talking about is the whatever the happiness or all those that God experiences in that Virat form, that beyond that is the Brahmananda. Why? Because even that is all of this is manifestation, right? A manifestation of ego of Bhagavan, which is the causal, the Hiranyagarbha and the Virat Rupa. Beyond that is Brahman. Brahman is the pure consciousness, which is soul, pure soul. So even Bhagwan has the causal Bhagwan, if you remember, has 50% spiritual energy and 50% material energy. But beyond that, there is 100% spiritual energy. So that is the Brahmananda. That is the Brahman that they are talking about. So that's it. Just wanted to tell
Yeah.
the context.
And when you said dream and sleep, I was like, yes, I could connect a bit. Maybe when I'm sleeping, that is the time I'm most blissful because I just don't know what's going around. It's like, yeah, I mean, when the sleep state of all the entire universe, that's like the Hiranyagarbha, and that is also just like that bliss is also it's just like the drop in the Brahmananda. Then that's how Brahmananda is that huge. Thank you so much, Pratisha ji. Like, to be honest, I didn't. I was a bit lazy. I didn't do my homework on this, so that's why I gave it as a homework to you all and finished off the homework within the session. Thank you so much. And when you said about the Virat Rupa of God, after watching yesterday's World Cup match, I could think of Virat Kohli. That I was like, no, okay, this is the. But sorry for the bad joke. I tried to crack a joke like Nitinji. I know it doesn't work out. Uh, Best wishes to Nitinji. So yeah, he is not here today, right? Okay, so I'll I'll wish him again. Uh, so that's it. I'll walk through the slides and just
I
get this to the end. And there is another video by Premanand Maharaj ji, "Apne man ko khali karna seekho." Like it's another thing which explains about the intricacies of mind, and what exactly is meant, and how do you purify your mind. So this is a 20-minute video to save time. I will not play it here, but I will send the link for this video, and it is recommended that you watch this video as well. So brings to the end of our session. I'll hand it over to Sandhya ji and Shaji. That's it. Thank you, everyone.
thank you so much, Sri Ramya ji. And yes, please do share the link for that video. That is an important thing that we all need to practice, emptying our mind. So I'll now start sharing the Bhakcharit presentation. Where is it? Can you stop sharing first?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So actually, today's Bhakcharit is like too much related to our topic of discussion. We are talking about purification of mind and intellect, and we are going to learn about a very practical way of purifying our mind and intellect that each one of us can do every day. And what is that? That is basically eating prasad, and we are going to learn about the glory of prasad. So this is the story of a devotee named Angadji, who was actually not a devotee to start with. So let's see what is the story like. So there was this devotee. He was an atheist basically to start with, Angadji, but his wife was a great follower of God. And before the marriage, the wife, she had a Maika or parental home where saints were regularly served, and so she often got the opportunity to eat the remnants of the saints. So basically, saints were offered food, and whatever remnants were there, that was basically eaten by the family as prasad. So, and in her parental home, she also had a guru. So she used to listen to his satsang, and basically she was spiritually inclined based upon her experience in her Maika. But after her marriage, she came to live with Angadji. Although this was a royal family, so Angadji's uncle was the king of a kingdom. So this was a royal family, so there was all the resources available. There was splendor in the household, but there was no presence of saints, nor there was any visits by saints. So there was no satsang, there was no discussion of God, there were no spiritual discourses, and there was no prasad. And that, of course, somebody who has gotten the taste, the higher taste, right, cannot live without it. So that's what was happening with Angadji's wife. Although she was a queen, but she was very distressed because she could get the prasad at her parental home. She could get the divine vision, divine darshan of the guru. So all of this devotional atmosphere was missing there. So, but Angadji although was an atheist, but he respected deeply his wife as a devoted follower of God, and he never interrupted her interest or her devotional practices, right? But he never himself was believer of even saints or God. So after many days without seeing the saints, the queen became extremely restless and she wrote a letter to her guru, and she requested to plead to bring him to her, post-marriage house. So because she couldn't leave, at least if the Guruji could visit her home and, grace them. So now the point is the gurus are always very selfless. Like saints, they just want to grace you and bless you. So they don't need like much of a pleading, much of a request. She requested, he came. And so, of course, she was overjoyed when the Guru Dev came. And she gratefully received the holy water from his feet, performed the aarti, and offered food, and respectfully seated the Guru. So then she started pressing his feet, like washing the feet, pressing the feet as part of the service practice, right? But when Angad, her husband, returned from work and he saw that she's holding Guru's feet, now for him, he's no like saint is like another normal individual. So why is my wife holding someone's feet? So he was enraged and he ended up disrespecting the Guru at that moment. So the queen was utterly shocked. Like she knew how hard she had really wanted for the guru to visit, and now her guru was being disrespected by her husband. So she was really upset about it. But the guru, again being a saint, maintained his composure and signaled the queen to remain calm. And without saying any word, he rose and quietly left. So at this point, the queen was really, really upset. So she took a firm vow and declared that I will no longer sustain my life. So she stopped eating, um, stopped talking to the king, I mean, Angad and so basically, she was kind of in a state of upset, and which she was expressing in these ways. In fact, she said to this extremity that I'll destroy my body by not eating anything because my guru was dishonored. So Angad ji, although had no inclination still or towards God or saints, he was deeply attached to his wife. And hearing her solemn woe, his heart was filled with distress. Now, he also renounced food and water, but how long can this sustain, right? So, at the end of it, he fell at his wife's feet and pleased, like, I cannot live without you. So, please tell me how I can make you happy. So, the queen replied, if you truly wish to please me, then go to our guru and humbly seek his forgiveness. Convince him to return here, offer food to him, and if he takes that food, then we will receive the prasad and then only I'll return to the normal state. So she put her condition very, very clearly. And as expected, Angad ji went to the Guru. Again, this is just to please his wife. Remember, so far, his motive and his intent is not to connect with God or to serve a saint, but just to please his wife. So yeah, so he went there. He asked for forgiveness, and saints being saints. So this was another thing. Like a true saint is a sadhu personality. So even though you might have insulted them, they don't carry with themselves. They are so much compassionate towards all the soul that they are always ready to forgive, and that's what the guru did. And then they brought him home. They washed his feet, offered him food, and then took the basically the charnamrit and the prasad. So all this was so far to please his wife only, right? Not for devotion. But as soon as Angad ji took the prasad, right, he got transformed. What is this called? This is called Sukriti. I don't know if you get, I think we have discussed this earlier as well. Sukriti is about, this is how our faith, kind of journey of faith in God begins. And Sukriti is basically getting in touch with anything that is associated with God, attending his satsang, reading the scriptures, or eating his prasad, right? All of this is part of Sukriti. And this is like even without having the intention of becoming a believer of God, there is some kind of a physical transformation. What is it? That's basically purification. So just by eating the prasad, the intellect and the mind of Angadji started getting purified. So his previously skeptical mind now started contemplating in the right direction. He turned to his wife and said, "Our life so far has been wasted. Please tell me how to practice devotion properly." Gradually, he began assisting in the service of the Lord. He resolved never to eat anything unless it was offered to God. Over the years, this became his way of life, first offering food to the Lord and then accepting only the prasad. Furthermore, Angadji appointed 4 attendants with only the duty of seeking out saints wherever they could be found and inviting them home to partake in the food offering. So, we can see like how much there was transformation just by having the prasad once. So, like this is one takeaway, that anyone feel like I feel like this family member of mine is not, kind of accompanying me in devotional practice. So they don't know what is the power of bhakti. Just offer them some prasad somehow. I think that will itself start doing its job, right? So, anyways, this is just the first part of the story, and given we have time, I think I can go forward. That will demonstrate it more clearly how it can have material positivity as well, like the prasad. So now Angadji was like a full devotee. So he was a brave warrior too. And so once he waged war against a king, and because he was a brave warrior, he emerged victorious and he claimed his crown as a trophy. So now this king's crown, which he won as a trophy, was adorned with 101 diamonds. And out of them, one of them was exceptionally priceless. So Angadji recognized the immense value and significance of this diamond, and he decided to offer this to Jagannathji, because now he was a devotee. So anything which is precious must go to the right source, right? Which is God. So he decided to give that diamond, like offer it to Jagannathji. But then when it was realized, so he was, at the end of it, he was just the nephew of the king. There was a king who existed in that dynasty, right? And that king was greedy of the diamond because this diamond was like super precious. So they kind of, he first requested Angadji to give the diamond to the king, but Angadji denied. He said that, I have already dedicated this to Lord Jagannath. So, sorry, yeah. So then the king had a conspiracy against Angadji, because he got wicked through this corruption of mind. So his mind was not pure, okay? He did not have prasad. So, however, so he decided to kill Angadji because Angadji was not ready to give up on that diamond, right? So, in the kitchen, so in this royal kitchens, food is cooked by someone who is trustworthy. And in this particular kitchen, Angadji's sister only was cooking the food. And that's when the king tried to convince her to put poison in Angadji's food. And, through material riches, she was kind of convinced that, okay, she will do it. So in the presence of king, they put the poison in Angadji's food. And Angadji first offered the food to the Lord, as always. And then he was about to have the food, but he found something missing. What was missing? His sister's daughter. So he always used to eat the food with his sister's daughter, his niece. And today she was missing. And of course, why she was missing? Because his sister knew that there is poison in the food, so she did not want her daughter to have that food. So Angadji kind of inquired if where is she? I do not want to eat food without her. She, the mother said that probably she has gone for playing, so you continue eating. However, he was pretty persistent that, no, I really love her. We eat together. I would wait for her. So then, her mother melted, like his sister melted, like I was going to kill my brother and see how much my brother loves my daughter. So she decided to tell him that, okay, there is poison in this food, don't eat it. And it was because of my, greediness that I ended up adding this poison in your food. So now what Angadji said, he said that I have already offered this food to my Lord, and if he has eaten it, I will also eat it. How can I let the prasad get wasted, right? So he ate the entire meal, even licking the leftovers from the plate, and he had no impact because it was now the prasad, right? And I think if you guys remember, this was also something similar for Mirabai also, right? So when we are talking about real bhaktas, nothing can impact them, and especially because whatever they do is in connection with God, and when God is there, everything is purified, even poison is purified, right? So yeah, so this is the glory of prasadam. The poison failed to harm Angadji. So, so the conclusion is this, which is the words of Pandit Gaya Prasad Ji Maharaj, that never consume food without first offering it to the Lord. Always regard your meals as Thakurji's prasadam. So ideally, one should formally offer it to God and then eat. But if you find yourself in a situation where formal offering is not possible, then at least close your eyes for a moment. Remember the Lord, mentally dedicate the food to Him, chant His name a few times, and then partake of it. Even water should not be consumed without offering it first. And doing so will purify and sanctify your mind and intellect. So I think we learned a practical tool also to work towards purifying our mind and intellect. And this is like really beautiful practice that we all should try and follow all the time. And that is it. I think I am done with this story. Because we have like six. Yeah, you want to say something, Pratushati? Please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say thank you. Beautiful story. Love
Yeah,
to
thanks
listen.
to Premanandji. And in fact, we just heard him today, so I am not going to again show this video to you guys, but I will share the link and you can hear it directly from him. That will be even more sweeter. And because we have like 5 more minutes, I guess, I think I can add one more uh, like I think learning that I had regarding prasad eating. So there was this little child. There was a video that I watched in which this little child said that I always offer food, or actually not just food, anything and everything that I get and I'm going to consume. I first offer it to Radharani. And Radharani is the one who actually offers it. She only has the right to offer food to Krishna. Nobody else can, or food or anything for that matter, right? So we offer it to Radharani, and if there is any um, mistake or anything which is missing in what we are offering, she completes it. And then she offers it to Krishna. And then we receive the prasad of it. So that's why, in fact, I've always this is just one habit. When I cook food, I try to not taste it and I'll just offer it to Radharani. And for some reason, whenever I receive the prasad, it is always like balanced in terms of whatever, spices, salt and stuff. So I genuinely feel this that she corrects it because we will always make mistakes, but God, I mean, it has to go to Krishna. So Radharani will make sure that it is all perfect. So yeah, so that was a sweet one that I realized. Okay, I think with that I'll stop sharing and Yeah, Kumarji. Yes, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Jai Shri Ram. So, Premanand ji, that's whom we have been talking about.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you have some this one on how he, like, is it since childhood or when did he
Oh,
get into
there is.
devotion?
Oh, okay. His story is long one, but in short, I can say I think he was in his teens, early teens. I don't know, 12, 13 or something. 11. Okay, he was 11-year-old when he left his house. And he initially followed the path of Gyan. And then he was a Shiva devotee, and then gradually he became a devotee of Radharani. And so he has like gone through all sorts of hardships that we can't even imagine. And he is like, I mean, at this stage, I feel like he's one of the biggest giver of love. And like teachers of bhakti, a bhakti saint that I really look forward to hearing and learning from. Yeah.
Yeah, also, I think he was from a Brahmin background, and he's learned Srimad Bhagavatam at a very young age. So a lot
Yeah,
of scriptures, etc.
that's
So
that's
that's
that's a good
that's
point.
got that vairagya in him, and he decided to leave. So he studied in school also, but then he was more interested, and then he left one day.
Yeah, so Sukriti, right? So being in that particular household, he was introduced to that Sukriti at a very early age. And of course, he had his own past karmas, but still, right? The sanskars that he was introduced to were beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you
wanted
for
to
asking. Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to say about the Bhagavatam class. So should we do that right now?
Yeah, I think let's just put it across at least here. So as you all know, like Sundays we are having this Bhagavad Gita discussion, and on Saturdays we have Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. But for some reason, the turnout of people is like yesterday there was nobody apart from the two of us, myself and Pratushadi. So we kind of cancelled it. So we just wanted to hear a feedback, like if people are interested in having it, then only we will, because Pratushadi also prepares it every week, and there's effort. I mean, she loves to do it, but we still want, like, if there are people who want to hear it out. Otherwise,
Yeah,
we,
and if beyond like if Saturday is an issue, we can do it on Monday or something. Like
yeah,
if that's it,
yeah. I mean, if
and
there's any other.
convenient time.
Right, if there's any other preferable time. So we'll put out a poll in the community group that we have, and everybody can provide their feedback there. Does that sound good? Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay. So with that, it's 10. Thank you so much. See you all next week. Radhe Radhe.
that's okay. Thank you.